I think we haven't been having so many times to just check in and see how we're doing and how is this energy for everything we're doing. There's something I'm researching on the side that is the hyper exhausted generation that we are now, and how being connected in multiple things at the same time can give this sense of permanent exhaustion, that because our bodies don't move so much and there's so much connectivity all the time, that it feels really hard to rest completely. And one of the things this person talks about is how moving the spine is the best way to really rest. And after you move the spine, you can like achieve a level of relaxation and then be more aware and more connected after. So I just wanted to ask you guys, how are you doing? How are you feeling your energy levels? Do you feel super awake? Do you feel ready to go? Do you feel like it's hard to rest? What have you been reflecting on your body and your energy and presence? And I'll pass to Anna Marie.
Sure, thank you. It's a great inquiry. Yeah, I've been kind of inquiring that for myself the last few years. Like, how do I notice when my body feels, my nervous system feel overwhelmed? And how do I find like deep rest? What's the difference? Like, how connected can I be? And I think it's a really tough, like, it's for me a very tough challenge to really feel kind of what's really going on. And I've really noticed like these last few years, the level of exhaustion in my body is quite constant, even though I live in this really beautiful place in the middle of like France and it's really idyllic. But that's why I feel it so much more. This tiredness is because I'm in a space of such beauty and nature. And maybe that helps me every day to sort of notice. But like coming into the cool, like, yeah, this is, what's it now? It's 7 o'clock here and I've been on call since 10 and my back aches, my lower back aches, and I'm aware that my shoulders hurt, and there is a kind of excited, stressed, nervous energy of being at the end of the day and being on a computer. So yeah. Great inquiry. And I will pass that to, I'm just learning everyone's names and I swear that sometimes your handles change, but is it Nate?
It is, yes.
Cool.
Thank you. Yeah, body is is quite sore and rough, and I kind of neglect it a lot. My mind is good. I keep it going, keep it invigorated, but the body, it's taken years and years of just wearing it down. So it's something that I have to reflect on sometimes, and I kind of take it for granted that I need to keep the body healthy. But yeah, it's not something I put too much mental energy into. I just kind of, it's last priority, and a lot of times it shouldn't be. But that's the way it goes, and you just kind of deal with it. But it's a good question, and now I'm going to think about it more thanks to it. So I appreciate that. And I will pass it to Griff.
Yeah, I would say I'm always going at full speed. I mean, right now I'm just I've been on the coffee kick lately. So like, just how much coffee can I drink all day? And then I don't worry about these things, right? And then, and I totally disassociate from the body. But the standing desk is helping a lot. And so I don't know, I feel pretty energized with the standing desk and the dancing desk. I'll pass it to Jake.
I beat the shit out of myself for so long. Like I'm pretty hard. I'm honestly solid iron. I get weird if I sit down for too long. Like this whole job's been this crazy. Like, oh, I'm still sitting. I've never sat this much in my life. So it's I don't know. And I take care of myself. I love physical activity. I love being busy. So I don't really know. Like plus I can run outside and go on a trail and run through the jungle, and that's really fun. I also like to get hurt, kind of. Like, I mean, not like bad, but I do like to get hurt. Like, I do. I just do. It happened all the time at work. You just constantly got hurt with something like this or that, and I was really bad at it. I always hurt myself. I was always somebody that would like hit themselves with a hammer or like run into something or like drop something on them or do something dumb. That was me. I always did that, and it's just part of life, I guess. I don't know. I'm just kind of different, and my body's good. I'm good. I'm a machine. One day it's going to catch up with me, maybe. I don't know. My grandpa was really hard. He did things all the way up until he died. So I don't know. I hope I can be like that. My dad's really tough too. He still goes to the gym. My dad's 74 years old and he still goes to the gym 5 days a week. Like he's a beast. Yeah. So I hope I can do that. I really hope I can do that. That's kind of where I'm at. I'll pass it to Chewy.
Hey, Chewy. We're talking about how is your energy level? Have you been feeling rested, energetic? Do you think your body and your mind are okay? Or if you could rest more or think about practices for your well-being?
These past weeks, I really haven't had issues sleeping. I usually have a good sleep. But yeah, like speaking about mental energy, I think that it these past weeks it has been a little bit overwhelming. However, because of my professional experience, like working under a lot of stress and having lived the consequences of an aspect of that I really don't want in my life, I also feel that it has a lot to do with the decisions you take from day to day. So also Griff has helped me a lot with that because he's like, okay, you're gonna get into it, but remember to take your time and all of that. And yeah, like especially right now with the whole moving from city to city, it's always important to do that. So I haven't lost track of like my mental health, but I'll yeah, I think it's something that people should keep track to and keep track of and just be aware of when to take your own time or space, because I as I said, in my professional experience, I've lived the bad side of that, and it's just not cool and it's not healthy, and people that love you, like your friends and family, never have a great time seeing that. Like, it doesn't matter how much you work or what ideas you're working on, if it's something that you're not enjoying, it's just not worth it, no matter how far you push it. I'll pass it to Juan. I don't know if you went already.
Thanks, Chewy. Well, I think that I have become a little bit more sedentary, and I spent so much time seated that I think I might need a standing desk. I think it's a great idea, but what I have most struggled with is like a mental health, because like here in Colombia, like yeah, and I think in all the world we are living this pandemic, and it's very tough to hear from people that we love and close to us that are living this and passing through this. And I always try to keep myself mindful and grateful for the capacity to be safe in my house, and to yeah to be working with you guys, and like having something that makes me feel that I'm connected to something bigger, and yeah, bigger than me and my local context. So yeah, I think that's something that keeps me motivated a lot. And like the other day, I think 2 days ago, it was really funny that there's like a guru that my brother follows that is called Sadhguru, and he had a conversation with Maluma, that is like a Colombian singer, and they are the both like opposites, because this is like this young, maybe materialistic guy talking with a guru, and he was saying like, hey, I'm feeling a little bit like tired, and I have like 11 years of career like making music. And he said like, but you are a 29-year-old guy, and you sound like a 90-year-old guy like complaining about stuff. So like his message was like, that we have to live life in a profound way, and like not complaining about the issues that we have in our lives, because like yeah, we are very privileged, and like yeah, we are young, and the things that we are struggling are not like the end of the world. And even though that we are in this pandemic, like the world is not ending. So yeah, we have to always push forward and keep our energies up. So yeah, maybe sorry for speaking too much, and I will pass to Mateo.
Just before you speak, Mateo, I just want to be mindful of the time because we do have a big agenda today. So maybe 1 minute each. Thanks, Juan.
Sure, Libby. I'll go really fast in this one. That question comes like a reality check for me because actually this couple of days I've been quite a little bit sick, and I took for granted my health for like the more than a year because I was thinking that I was in a productivity marathon since the pandemic began, and I'm thinking that I took that for granted. So these couple of days that I wouldn't be able to do anything because I was physically ill and I didn't feel like doing anything, I was like mad with myself, like, dude, come on, you are sick, you cannot do anything productive, come on. And that shouldn't be like that. So I think that this question is telling me, hey, you need to balance more between your mental and physical health and see what could be better for you because yeah, more than a year since getting sick, like seriously sick with some, I don't know, a couple of headaches or something like that. But yeah, not being able to sleep well and you get fucked up for the rest of the day, it's not like the best. So yeah, I think that's really important to have in mind. And thanks for making that question because it makes me think about.
I really like this question because normally I'm just like, I'm amazing, I feel tremendous, but like it's been a hard week for me. And man, it's been tough. And it's going to be another hard week. So I can't wait for you to ask this question again next week because I feel like I'll have a different answer. It's been really hard. I've been really struggling. That's my honest truth. I've been really struggling. But things get better. Kids go back to school, and then it's a different world again. The one thing I want to say is you reminded me of like something that old yogis say, which is like age isn't measured in years, it's measured in the flexibility of your spine. And I really believe that, you know, I do like 10 minutes of exercise every day. I'm not running anymore. I'm not doing exercise anymore, but just those 10 minutes of like, you know, making your spine flexible again, I feel like has such a huge benefit for me every day. And I will pass to Santi.
Thank you, Tom. Well, I know I need a vacation. I need a few days off. I'm reaching that point where I need to disconnect for 2 or 3 days, no more than that. But I may take that next week. We are back in lockdown here. This fucking nightmare is not ending. I may visit a friend of mine who owns a little boutique hotel. He had to close again in the mountains, and just relax, disconnect a little bit for a couple of days. Try to get on the bike a little bit more. I crashed a few days ago, nothing serious, but but I had a little crash. I do every once in a while. It's not unusual. But try to get more constant. Due to lockdown and the weather, I haven't been able to get out that much. As long as I can get out, I feel good in balance, head and physically, mentally good. If I don't go out, after a while, I get tired. I don't sleep too well. So it's important to keep balance. The older you get, the more important it is. So you guys remember this. All right, I'll pass it to Septimus.
Thanks, Santi. Yeah, for me, I really take a lot of time for myself during the day. Like I meditate, I do sport. So yeah, I normally feel great, and I think that gives me a lot of energy is doing cold water. Like sometimes I feel tired, I just go in the shower, do a cold water, and it helps me a lot. And yeah, I don't want to take more time, Libby. Did you go, Griff?
I think, Suga, do you want to go?
It's coming, Katie. Yes, thank you. So I was thinking, what a few of you folks said, it made me think of the saying, you don't miss your water till your well is dry. So, appreciating what you have, like what Juan was saying, and just now, Septimus. So yesterday, I went roller skating with my 8-year-old, and I had a really bad fall. Well, a really bad twisted knee. And I'm normally a runner. I need to get out in nature. I think you have to go in nature every day, because we live on computers. You really have to get out and get some fresh air. And I twisted my knee yesterday. So I tried to go running today. It was a very bad idea. But Griff was talking about coffee, and for me, I can't do coffee. I think because I do a lot of physical exercise. So something like coffee actually just makes me feel rather lousy. So for me, I have to just go do some sprinting. But yeah, it's going okay. So thank you. Back to you, Olivia.
I hope you feel better soon. And Craig, I think you're the last one.
Always. I'm not even sure what the question is, but I'll just say
just how you're feeling.
Energized. Oh, right. Okay, good. Yeah, I'm energized because my kids started going back to school this week, and yeah, that's just so incredibly huge for them and for just all of us. So I'm ready to go.
Nice. Okay, thanks everyone. So let's get this going. So yeah, updates on the Tokenlog mission, vision, and value session. I think everyone here is aware, but I'll just reiterate that there was a bug and Wesley fixed it very quickly. So we had to bring the votes back to 0. So if you voted before yesterday, please go back there and vote again. I think something nice that happened because of this was that older proposals had the chance to be seen again. So there was a recycling of the energy there. And we have a few more days. So if you didn't write a proposal, you can go ahead and do that. It's super simple and fun. And since there are many proposals there, you can vote right after you submit a proposal. So that's great. Mm-hmm.
I was just trying to vote a few minutes ago. It didn't seem it go through. I signed it and I voted through MetaMask, but the vote is not reflected, at least not in my screen. Can anyone check?
There's another bug. It's not a bug. It's just that we changed the name of the repo to Commons Build. So make sure you're on the Tokenlog /Commons Build / Softgov, and then it should work.
All right.
And in fact, your votes probably already worked.
So I just need to check if they are reflected on these other repo that you're mentioning?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Commons Build instead of TE Commons.
All right.
Wait, so it doesn't work? Oh. I have the...
I changed most of the links in the forum post. I thought I changed them all. I don't know how you found that link. Where did you find that link, Santi?
It was just on my historial, in my browser.
Okay, sweet. That's great news.
Okay, cool. Yeah, this one is updated. Santi, your proposal is winning.
Yeah, because I messed up.
Oh, oh, never mind. It's Marco. It was you, but Marco passed ahead. Okay, so...
Oh, it's a real competition. This is exciting.
It is. Cool. Okay. So yeah. So just postponing a little bit. We're gonna release the results on Thursday in the community call. And if there are a few proposals that are very close to each other, then we'll have this time between Thursday and Tuesday for the stewards to get together and see what are the proposals that are on top, and if they have respective forks that are attached to them, and have a final vote for Tuesday. So it's the same process, we're just delaying a little bit. And then I finally did the Softgov audit update because I've done the process with Zaptimus and Ivy in the very beginning. So I didn't get to do the one in the sheet that is the final one, and I did today, and it's super easy. It was very intuitive and really cool. The spreadsheet numbers that you put in, Zati, that is automatically counts the points for you. So if there are other working group leads here that haven't done that, I encourage you to do. It's really cool. And it also made me reflect on how I think Softgov hasn't been using GitHub to the best. So maybe we need to assign more issues to each other on things that we are collaborating with. And then I want to pass to Suga in a minute, because we've been working on an onboarding journey with Suga and Tim. And I think we're getting to an interesting place on creating a process and how this can develop for other onboarding team members. So it's kind of looking like a little working group already that might evolve into having onboarding team members and a little process for how people come into the TC. Do you want to share about it, Suga?
Olivia, so just to clarify, actually, family name. And but it will probably be easier. You can just call me Katie. Or Suga is okay, but I realize that it sounds like it's sugar, but it's Suga. Can you share for me the screen? Do you want to just do the sharing?
Yeah, I'm sharing. Can you see it?
The document. My computer is probably too slow for that right now.
Can everybody see? Okay.
A process to sort of streamline how. Oh, yes. Thanks. My computer's just working slowly right now. So we constructed a 3-part process here, and basically the idea is that it's probably not too much different from how things have been going, but it's just streamlined so that everybody, well, basically so that the left hand knows what the right hand is doing. So I've written this a message that you can share anytime you encounter someone new. And Livia had the idea that this can also be pinned on the incubator. So we'll go over that, I guess. And then I guess most importantly is the idea that once you contact a new person, you want to just add some of their name or their handle or something into the contributor tracker. And whether or not you have time to onboard them yourself, that's up to you, but at least there will be a tracker, and I will be able to then take over if that person, if it's you or just whoever it might be, can just input some simple information, just some handle, and then I can carry on with that. So either you can, if we go to step number 2, you add the handle, and then you can either onboard them, or I will find somebody who can onboard them or onboard them myself. And then you'll see the information under part 3 that just lists the process, like a basic process where you share the mission, vision, values, the working groups, and the roadmap. And then Tam had the idea that these 4 pieces of information would be really important to get from them. And then equally, that information will be added to the contributor tracker to have a more fleshed out picture so that that person can be directed toward the best working groups for them, for the working groups and for the new contributor themselves. And then there'll be a recommendation made to what calls you might want to send them to, what channels, and then all of that information gets added. So if we scroll down a little bit further, what kind of recommendation to make? So of course you want to direct the person to whatever working groups, but also ask them to do these other things. They can check out the calendar for their interests. They can join the community call. As you know, they can join any call they want to, but at least you get them sent to these more general channels, but then also whatever specific for them. I think that's it. Let's see. Oh, and then of course, just a follow up. If you scroll down a little bit, then we just follow up with them. So am I missing something, Tam? Do you want to jump in on that?
No, I think you did a good job. No, I don't really have anything to add. It's more or less what just sort of like a very basic, like what we need right now for all of the stewards to do. And then of course there's sort of like, what can we do in the future, which is having more automation or having there be Discord channels associated with how many TC tokens they have. But this is really not for like, this is just like the lightweight, super easy process for us to start doing today. We've kind of already started doing it because as I'm onboarding people or as I'm reaching out to people, I'm dropping them into that spreadsheet already. So this is like the process for us to be able to say to, in the TEC Stewards Weekly, for us to look through and see who's new and which working group can say, oh, I need somebody with these skill sets, or has, you know, a little time or a lot of time or for this one project. And we can actually have a view of all of the contributors that have recently joined. So the stewards can figure out together like which working group needs some support.
Cool. Can I just ask that we update the sharing to at least make it comment only, so that we can jump into it if you go to that share button? Because I can't actually open the doc.
Is that you, Tim? Is that
I
Oh
can
yeah, no,
Tam's the owner of that.
oh yeah, yeah. But any of you can do it. So
any of you do it?
at the bottom it says change to anyone with the link. There we go. And now make it comment.
At the bottom it says change to
Or
anyone with
editor.
the link. There we go. And
Thank you.
quick question about this contributor. Katie, can you mute, please? Because it's hard to.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Where is there any filter here that I can't see the other names? I'm really bad with spreadsheets. Oh,
Here, just
there
hit
you
it. The ones from October, November, December. Like, I think those are the months that were hidden, and just the more recent ones we're showing.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, thanks for presenting. And then another idea we talked about on how to improve this process is that perhaps we could use the community call to promote issues we need help with. I feel like maybe we can talk more about this in the stewards call, but I think sometimes we get to a repetitive place in the community call, and I think that's helpful for everyone to really understand what's happening. So it's not a problem that is repetitive, but we could maybe choose the information more carefully to have a call to action for each working group. And this calls to action every week can become an issue. And then that issue can be assigned to the new contributors according to their expertise that they will share when they join. So we have kind of a circular flow for how people get engaged and something for them to own depending on where they're at. Does anyone has thoughts about it, or think it's not a good idea?
I like it. I think the community call gets a lot of eyes, actually. So it's probably the best place for us to have call to actions.
Yeah, I also think it's a fantastic idea. Like, it helps like people to get more engaged.
Cool. So we can probably talk about it in the stewards call tomorrow, Tim, if that's okay. Like, have a minute to create calls to action, and then we can experiment in this community call on Thursday.
Sure, I'll add it to the agenda now.
Thank you. The next point is SourceCred. So I created a SourceCred channel on Discord under working groups. It's not a voice channel, just a chat channel where we can organize and post updates there, see how everything is flowing. Santi, do you want to give us an update on where this is at, and if we're ready to have the first committee action to pick the token issuance and how we're going to distribute it?
Sure. We were just running through the update of SourceCred, and Mateo has been taking a look at that. He can update us on that after I talk. I think the best way to proceed now that everything is more or less finished would be to create that committee and decide when to implement the first distributions. Probably after Hatch would be the best time, and how to do it progressively, so we can just analyze every single initial distribution with small amounts, almost, just to make sure that we check that everything is working correctly as we expect. And if we have to tweak it here or there, we are always talking about very, very small amounts, so it's not a big impact. And after we've run through some of those 2 or 3, and we feel comfortable, then we can set up or propose the process of requesting funds to the DAO as the final conviction voting DAO will be created, and through there design the best process or way to distribute. So I think the next step probably would be to just open up a call for anyone who wants to join the committee or the group, and have the first discussions together to see how we move forward from there. Mateo, you want to update us on the situation of the latest version that you've been working on?
Yeah. SourceCred made an upgrade to version 8.2 or something. I was having an error because I was in a previous version 7 point something, and was related with the GitHub token that they formatted a new version of the token, so it wasn't working. I fixed that today and updated the instance. Also, it's showing a more beautiful, kind of more precise interface. You can check it out. It's now with the new GitHub repo name that is commons build.github.io/sourcecred. You can check it out in the channel. I encountered also something else, that many people that joined us in the latest weeks didn't get the SourceCred distribution because I didn't enable their accounts. So by next week, for the next distribution, I will enable all of those accounts that are getting cred but didn't get the grain in this last distribution. So for next week, I will be leaving a message so everyone can check in the instance and see if I missed out somebody, because I have to do all of that manually. And maybe I can skip someone, and it's not cool that everybody's getting the grain and not them. So that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. All of the design.
Thank you, guys. So I think there's a few open questions that maybe we can continue to talk about them in the SourceCred chat. Who are going to be in the committee? Maybe this is a call for a new role, and kind of creating a specification for this role as well, even if it's loose, just so people understand a little bit the responsibilities of being in the committee if they decide to join. Maybe we can talk about that, Mateo, Santi, this week.
Sure, that sounds good. Yeah, that should be the first step.
Yeah.
Cool. And then the last update for today, and also want to open a little bit then to hear about how we can continue contributing here. So Nate gave a feedback a while ago, talking about how the processes weren't so clear. And also Katie mentioned that, how when joining, sometimes even the platforms are not very, like the tools that we use, we usually take for granted that people are familiar with how they are connected or with the flow of the tools and the processes. So I started to write this, and there was some things that we already had. And okay, I'll give an overview and then I'll pass around. So what do you need to know about the processes? I think how reward happens. So how are your contribution going to be rewarded? And then the praise, and a few links have to be added here still. And SourceCred, talking about where we're at now and where do we wish to develop into. And then the roles, it's something we discussed in the last 2 Softgov calls ago. So the contributor, how the onboarding happens, what are their responsibilities, their commitments, and what are some pinpoint actions that are like easy to identify. Then this associated rights Angela had in a previous document, and I left here in case. I think this is, it sounds too much for me, or I don't know, I can't see so well the importance of having this here, but does anyone think this should remain here? Okay. Okay, I think I will delete it. If anyone thinks it's important, please let me know. And then subject matter expert, same. And then now I started writing for community stewards and updating the things we had. So before we decided to also have working group leads as another role. Gravitons is now another role. And then perhaps SourceCred committee is another one. So I don't want to make it too messy that we have so many roles there, but I think it's important for the people that do occupy that role to have some type of boundaries and understanding of what that means in terms of the process that we've been following. Yeah.
So I just want to say, I think there's, because, you know, I know we have like working group leads, and that might be a little bit different than maybe a steward or an SME or a contributor in itself. So that may be something to expand on. And I think that we kind of, we conflate titles and roles a little bit. I do think there's a purpose for both of those things. But, you know, as long as they have, you know, a function within the kind of social organization of how we organize ourselves is really important. Yeah, because titles have like really good aspects, but it also has really negative aspects in terms of just this perception of authority, or somebody having authority in a situation where we don't want to have that perception. I just think it's just something to think on, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, that's a good point. I've been trying to frame them in a very, like, it's not because one it's more important than the other. It's just the circumstance that they are inserted in, or the responsibilities they accepted to take. So we could definitely review that later, and I think it's a good point to be careful about. And then my question was also, what are other processes that should be here on a, because one challenge I've been having with the Gitbook is how can the complexity be like fluid? Because even now it's a bit like, it's kind of scary to look at, I think, for a person that is arriving or for people that want to learn more. So what are the minimum of the things that should be here that are important for people to know about a process?
I honestly think that particular processes, especially within working groups, should be educated on a one-to-one basis with people who have the, kind of that institutional knowledge of how it works and what's going on through it. I don't know if Gitbook should be relied upon for those types of things. I mean, it could be used as a resource for educating, but I think that if you have a newcomer to the TEC, they shouldn't be relying on the Gitbook for that type of acquiring that type of knowledge. I think that should be directly given to them and walked step by step through somebody who understands the processes that are internally created. But that's something that I think that the onboarding working group should set an outline for, or the Softgov should set an outline for.
Yeah, I think the Gitbook is more of a reference material than a like, oh, I'm going to read this now that I'm here. It's not I mean, it's kind of like when you get instruction manuals for something, but you kind of can figure out how to build it yourself. You don't really read the instruction manuals, but when you get stuck, you kind of go back and, oh, yeah, okay, I see what they're saying. Oh, yeah, okay, this piece goes, and that's the way I would expect people would want to use the Gitbook, and also for the leaders to make sure that they're standardizing when they have a question or they want to understand the perspectives of everyone and don't want to. It's like advice process, right? You go to part of the advice process would be confirming that our single source of truth is aligned with whatever you're doing.
As a new arriver here, I think the Gitbook is incredibly helpful. I might find it a little overwhelming if that was my first point of contact. Do you find the pinned messages in discourse on arrival, things like that just have short messages and direct me to somewhere that if I want to read further, I can learn more? Really super helpful joining a new community, especially if it has things like, if you've never used Discord, here's how to use it for the first time, or if you want to talk to someone, here's the process. Hope that helps.
Yeah, I also agree with Nate and Griff. Using the Gitbook for the the information of the TEC is there, and for the onboarding journey, something that we were talking about on comms, T-Walls is working on, those diagrams. I think those are more visual and can help more for the onboarding journey.
And that's actually something we're paying attention to, I think, now, is that we're trying to distill things down and put them in easy to understand graphical elements. And that presentation this morning from that gentleman was really good. So I know that Zeptimus and Juan and myself and Nate are all working on those things. We don't have a time yet set up on a regular basis to do that, but we're thinking after maybe one of the meetings on Tuesdays we can do that. But yeah, I think that's an effort that we're all engaged in to make those things easier to understand. And I just will say that I actually think sometimes we forget how much of a leadership situation the token engineering comms is taking attitudinally and with respect to creating culture and all that stuff. And that is actually a big sort of sellable feature in a way of what we're doing here. I know we're advancing token engineering, but we're also advancing this super cool cultural thing. And every person that I ask to come here, I'm asking them to come here for that. And in many ways, we actually don't communicate that singular fact of how beautiful the cultural aspect of this thing is. And speaking for myself, because that's what I'm here for, I would really like to see that kind of thing. Like I kind of like this thing that Griff does, where he's like, the story of money's broken, and then there's the story of money, or story of common common goods or the common good is broken, and what is it that we're actually doing about that? And I think that's a nice way to sort of speak about our culture in a very easy to understand way. And then if people are here for the tech, then we can shunt them off in that direction. But the overall cultural thing and what we're actually, the whole intentionality and everything behind what we're doing, I think is the most powerful, compelling thing about what we're doing. And it's obvious to all of us because we've all been here for a while, but it's really not obvious to a lot of people who kind of pop in. So I'm going to try to do what I can about that. But I just wanted to bring it up as a huge part of what we do. I think we often forget all of this beautiful intentionality and fixing the story of money and fixing the idea of the common good is a big deal.
Yeah, this is actually, I'm glad you bring it up, Durganos, because this is a constant challenge I think we have, is that there's like the common stack, and the fact that the token engineering commons is this first like implementation of the common stack, which is really trying to change the way how we coordinate around public goods and really and in effect work towards changing the story of money, because hey, now we'll have tokens that represent something else. But at the same time, then that's like, and it's important for the trusted seed that we have people experiencing the token engineering commons from that perspective. But at the same time, when we're actually, we're trying to build this when we're applying it with the token engineering commons, we're building something really boring. I'm just going to be straight up. This is a boring thing. Engineering society that makes it easier to do token engineering. Like we're making it like we're going to create standards. I imagine like the core devs call for Ethereum, or like eventually something as big as the IEEE or a professional engineering association that creates standards and guidebooks and reference materials. And like when you get down to it, it's like
that seems like a big deal to me, though.
It is a big deal, but it's like, and I think it's important for token engineering, and it's important for the mission of the common stack, but we have to be careful. We have to make sure we're defining the scope. I think it's cool to bring people in, and it's really important for the common stack and the trusted seed that people who don't even care about token engineering are actually here. But then we have to be also careful not to broaden the scope of the token engineering commons too much. Otherwise, it will lose its intensity and its ability to actually execute on a smaller scope, right? The idea is that the next big thing is a lot of small things, and that this is a small thing with very targeted scope. We're going to advance token engineering, and we're going to build standards and be a selling point for the token engineers in the community to kind of unite and become token engineering maximalists because they have their token, but we don't want to make it the common stack common.
Well, and that's a question. So where is that point? Like I'm not going to a Softgov call on Common Stack. I'm not going to a Gravity call on Common Stack. I'm not going to a comms call on Common Stack. I'm doing all that within Token Engineering Commons. So that I'm confused about how that differentiator happens, because I'm super excited about what we're doing here, but what I'm excited about, I could care less about the engineering. I care about the other part, so
I think this I think this is the part that we need to be just more expressive about when we invite people in.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
We just tell them, hey, guess what? They're building this like boring token engineering thing, but what's really cool is if we can follow this model, and then maybe we can learn to apply it for spiral dynamics and advancing the spiral dynamics like concept into the world in a regenerative way, because you're providing there's a lot of value in these concepts, and if we can spread them and in a regenerative way, we create systems that or a film festival like Chewy wants to do, or Gravity, and all these things, they will be able to apply this system, but then we have to make sure and tell people that this system is being applied to a token engineering association that will advance token engineering and be really nerdy and cool.
Yeah, thanks for letting me say
that. One thing to add is I think because sometimes it's confusing because a lot of these practices they are also token engineering practices. So even this of like changing the story of money, we're talking about tokens and we're talking about engineering tokens. So even the structure for new economies, for whatever new economies, not necessarily token engineering new economies, it's gonna have a sense of token engineering. Like all these new economies will benefit from what token engineers create and the models they create. So I think that's very meta about the token engineering commons that will help so much any other commons.
Yeah. And it's the meta nature that makes it so difficult, because it's like, I was a chemical engineer back in the day, right? Designing power plants. And there's a professional engineering association that you have to join, you have to take tests, and you have to be certified and blah, blah, blah. And I didn't end up going that route, but I could have gone that route. And effectively, because of the certification process and this professional engineering association wasn't building power plants. Just like how the token engineering commons is not going to be building new economies, but it is going to be a support structure that makes it easier for other people to come in here and innovate and build new economies. So we're talking about building this little happy place where all the token engineers get together and they share ideas, and they debate which projects are the most important, and that will make everybody's life easier. But in the end, token engineering commons is just this boring happy place. It doesn't actually do token engineering. It just is there to support token engineering, the support structure.
Yeah, and I think it just, for me, goes down to motivation too. People get really motivated when they hear Griff talk or hear, Juan talk about gravity and these kinds of things. So in many ways, that sort of devotion that it takes to participate in this thing and put all your time and everything like we all do here in this call is, based on that too. So I just am suggesting we not forget about how awesome the overall view that we all have, and particularly with somebody like Griff and Livy here, and even me and Juan, here in that sense too, So, yeah, I just it's so awesome and so motivating and so cool, and I just like to make sure we don't forget.
I just want to add to that I like, along with what Durgadas has, his feeling towards the cultural build, I have the same feeling towards it. Like I'm about it. But something that I'm slow to come to realize is that, this is not simply a copy paste thing, that the cultural build for this community is designed around the, achieving the outcome of building the TEC for token engineers and being that type of knowledge commons for token engineering. And it's not going to be the same in other places. And so it has a set of principles behind it, but the what we're trying to achieve is not the cultural build itself, but the actual TEC and their mission. So
yeah, thanks.
Cool. We're on the top of the hour. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks, Anna Marie, for joining us for the first time and giving very awesome feedback, and for all of you that contributed and continue to contribute so much. And we'll keep coordinating on some of the action items that came up today. Thank you all.